Matt, can you hear us? Matt, was that a yes? I think we're having some issues with the sound coming through from Zoom.
Sorry. Yeah, I missed the question. I can hear you now. If that's what you're wondering.
Yes, it is. I think that should be good enough. You're the only one online, so I think we can go ahead and get started.
We're not even 10 minutes late, April. We are doing great. All right. We have 4 members, so we met our quorum, but it needs to be unanimous tonight. So let's stand for the pledge. All right. Kyle, would you make your presentation? Minutes? Oh, I'm so ready to go. All right. Well, did anybody read the minutes? Fine, thank you. Okay, I read them, but I'm not sure I'm supposed to vote on them. They look fine to me.
I move to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We all agree, minutes are approved. All right. Sure. April, would you take?
I am trying to get the projector up and running. It just doesn't seem to want to. So we'll see what we can do.
I can start with the part that we've heard
Hold
a
on.
million times.
And
anyway.
Kyle, you can always, that mic will work as well at the computer if you need
Yeah.
to sit and read, because I don't think I'm going to get the projector up. I'm sorry.
Okay.
April, will you call roll?
Yes, absolutely. Chair Eggline,
Here.
Vice Chair Tholt,
Here.
Commissioner Shirtliff.
Here.
Mr. Top is absent, and Ms. Beckwith.
Here.
Okay, we have 4 board members present. That is a quorum.
Go ahead.
Tonight, we have one variance application for your consideration. The variance review criteria pursuant to section 11-5-5C of City Code to approve of requested variance for a new building or portion thereof, the Board of Adjustment shall consider the following standards and find as follows. The variance will not create a significant risk to the public health, safety, or general welfare. The variance will not significantly reduce or impair the peaceful use of existing property or improvements in the vicinity. In strict compliance with the provisions of this title would create unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty. In evaluating the standards above, the Board of Adjustment may consider the following factors. Special conditions and circumstances that are unique to the applicant's site, the height, location, or dimensions of existing structures located on the site or in the vicinity, whether there is a prevalence of nonconformities in the vicinity of the site that are similar to the variance requested, the subsequent imposition of zoning restrictions creating nonconforming lots or parcels or governmental actions beyond the applicant's control, whether a literal interpretation of the provisions of this title would deprive the property owner of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties, the extent to which the hardship or difficulty results from the actions of the applicant, and whether granting the variance requested will confer an unreasonable special privilege to the subject property. Section 11-5-5F of City Code states the following: the Board of Adjustment may impose conditions to minimize adverse impacts that the variance may have on public health, safety, or general welfare. Any approval that includes conditions is subject to the terms of the conditions. These conditions may include, but are not limited to, a time period in which the proposed structure shall be completed and any other conditions necessary to mitigate adverse effects. It is the recommendation of the City Attorney's Office. The staff does not make a recommendation to approve or deny. And Montana law states the Board of Adjustment has authority to consider, upon appeal in specific cases, such variance from the terms of the ordinance as will not be contrary to the public interest, where owing to special conditions, a literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance will result in unnecessary hardship, and so that the spirit of the ordinance shall be observed and substantial justice done. Montana Code annotated 76-2-323. If the Board of Adjustment approves the requested variance, the following conditions are recommended: that the applicant must obtain a building permit within 1 year. Item 1 tonight is 1537 East Lindale, also addressed as 1312 North Harris. A variance from section 11-4-2B3 to decrease the setback to the vehicular entrance of a garage from 20 feet to 16.3 feet for a property in an R2 zoning district with the legal description of lots 15 and 16 in block 45 of the Northern Pacific Addition to the City of Helena, Lewis and Clark County, Montana. The reason for this variance is to allow for construction of a new 2-dwelling unit residence with garage facing North Harris Street that have less than 20 feet to the garage. Here is the zoning map. You can see the property on the southwest corner of Lindale in Harris. To the east, in north, and south are all R2 properties. Diagonal across the alley is CLM zone, or across Lindale and Harris is CLM zoning. Here is the plat showing it as created and defined. A history of applicable permitting action. The property is currently vacant. Permits for new water and sewer service were issued in June of last year. Here is the site plan as submitted, and here is an expanded of the proposed structure showing the configuration, size of the building, and why it can't meet the setback.
The last slide.
What?
Is that the last slide?
No. I haven't. Here's the existing site as it is now. You can see where water and sewer lines were dug and installed last summer. Surrounding building, it's the typical early 1900s neighborhoods that we have throughout Helena. This one specifically being 6th Ward Railroad District. There are, as is typical, non-conforming garages in the vicinity. These pictures are taken both up and down Harris and along Lindale within a block of the site. As stated, this variance will serve the following purposes: to give adequate access to utilities. The current location of the sewer moves the structure 10.3 feet from the property line, which is greater than the minimum in R2. And to maintain an adequate depth of garage, compliance with the 20-foot setback would reduce the garage depth to less than 20 feet. Quoting from the Architectural Graphic Standards book, the minimum recommended interior dimension for a garage is 21'10" for non-architect's reference. City Department comments addressing.
Sorry, Kyle, will you go back one more slide?
Yeah.
Sorry, the sewer is on the back side. It says it moves the structure 10 points.
Yeah, so
from the property line, would you show, just so I'm
So-
following with you, please.
The sewer line is shown on this site, on the left-hand side there.
Mhm.
It is at about the 8-foot line
Okay,
from the property line, and then to give clearance for access and just to move the foundation
so
away from that.
that's already, it's a
That's
vacant lot.
already existent, though.
It's
That
already
was
existing.
put in with a different plan, perhaps. A building permit was not issued for that structure, just water and sewer. But
Okay.
yeah, as you can see in this picture, there is a trench dug with pipe installed in that currently on the site at that location.
Okay. Thank you. Just want to make sure I was following.
City department comments. Addressing states the Lindale address will need to be changed to a North Harris if both parts of the duplex are accessed off Harris Street. Building and Fire submitted their typical comments about full evaluation will be done when a building permit is requested. Public Works had no comment. Transportation did comment about their preference for the 20-foot setback and that they do not support this type of variance generally.
Fair.
Public comment as of today, one comment has been received from a neighbor. They were more concerned about a multi-story structure than about this setback issue. They wanted to maintain their view. Are there any questions for city staff at this time?
I have a question. The existing sidewalk that's already in place, is that remaining or is the sidewalk being moved with a new building permit at all?
My understanding is the existing sidewalk is to remain.
Thank you.
So to be clear, we have 10'3" from the back of the proposed building to the property line in the back.
Yeah, from the west.
Okay,
From
and
the
it's
west
8,
property.
it's 8 feet from
Minimum,
the center line of the sewer to the property line.
approximately. I don't know that that is actually shown as a dimension here on this plan, but you can see the location of the 10'3" in the location of the sewer line is, I guess, approximately.
Okay,
At
thank
that
you. That
point.
was my question from earlier today. Question?
Madam Chair, so the fire code dictates that the size of the garage is to be 20 feet?
No, that is not from fire code. That 21'10" dimension comes from the Architectural Graphic Standards book. It's not a code book. It's just a reference of kind of best practices and general guidelines to follow when laying out a project.
Sorry, Madam Chair, thank you, Kyle. Does the city have code on, or have code or regulations or policy when it comes to the size of garage? Is that,
No, we don't have a minimum size for a garage definition.
okay,
That
Mm.
that line was included just as a reference
Okay.
factor, because if you do the math, that it's a 50-foot wide property. So if you take the 8-foot in the 20-foot, you are left with a 22-foot wide structure
Okay.
regardless. So you're basically compliance with all setbacks would give the bare minimum for a functional garage on that property.
okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Kyle.
you.
Does the applicant want to make a presentation?
So I guess what we're really trying to do here is the original plan, we were planning on doing a couple small houses. We had to go through redraw process. Took a really long time to shrink these buildings any skinnier than they are. would be very difficult, I guess, at this point. They're already really small, 912 square foot units. You know, to make them any smaller to meet those setbacks, it'd be very difficult. And where our sewer line is on the back of the building, I guess towards the side lot, we planned it out that way so that if anything ever happens with the sewer, you can still get like a mini excavator back there. You got 10 foot of room. You could dig up that sewer line if you have to. I mean, I guess that's, I guess that's what we're shooting for here. So. Any questions?
Oh,
Okay,
Tim?
thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh,
Hi, I'm Barb Hamlin and I live at 1625 University Street and this is my lot. And we tried to pick, well, it was in our inventory, but we had wanted to put in a duplex for our son and our granddaughter, who we have found the rentals are really difficult to find, something that they can afford. So we decided we'd go ahead and proceed with trying to use the lot that we had. And I know, as Ryan said, it's a small lot, but to keep the costs down and to keep everything that they could afford to rent, that was the purpose of putting it all together. We started it all in the beginning of the summer, and my husband, he passed away in July, but he came through and they kind of looked at everything and gave us kind of a tentative. He met with all of the heads of every division, and he was a builder for over 45 years in town here. But we realized that the city usually likes you to do fill-in building with lots, and so we thought this would be a good choice. So that's why we're here, and it wasn't just to have a rental to rent out and to make some extra money. It was for our son and granddaughter. So have any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
April, any comments online?
The only person online is from the city attorney's office. So we don't have any other members of the public.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll open it for board discussion.
I can't remember if it's a 20-foot setback just for a garage or if it's a 20-foot setback for the entire building.
It's for the garage. It's the garage door to the street.
And this normal setback for this zoning district is
10 feet.
10 feet. Okay, thank you.
I love this project. I love fill-ins. I feel like this project fits really well. This board in the past has always raised concerns, with the concern being that people, when they park, don't overhang onto a sidewalk for ADA purposes. And that's why we've always kind of held to that true standard. Normal parking spot is 18 feet long. I can see or believe what happened here is the sewer line kind of got put in before these plans were finished, and now to go back and move that sewer line would be a cost and expense to the developer. So what I'm trying to weigh, because I do believe that sewer line could be moved back and the building could be moved back another 2 feet, and that would at least give you the 18. But so I'm on the fence for that reason. I love this project. I love the fill-in, but protecting the sanctity that we've held with not allowing overhanging onto that sidewalk for parking.
No, that was concise.
Madam Chair, to the applicants, I appreciate the the work, trying to bring more affordable housing units to the city of Helena. It's something that the city commission has endeavored to be more amenable to be in favor of. Well, actually, since I've been on the commission, we've approved every housing unit that has come forth before us. And I do like infill quite a bit. I think, is there a way that we could change statute to have the sewer line put in after the plans are drawn, or that's just me thinking out loud, but I can get along with the 16.3 proposed variance. I think I can support that, but I understand the concerns that the board may have, but willing to have that discussion. Yeah, I think it's a good use of the piece of property. I've seen properties like this before where we've had on the side of town I live on, the lower west end, we have a duplex that was built. It's very compact. We weren't sure how it was going to fit on one piece of property, but they ended up doing a good job. But we do see some overhang. I don't know if there's something that we could ask the applicant to ask their tenants to not park over the sidewalk, but I don't know if we could add that kind of caveat or clause into the variance request. But I'm leaning towards supporting this variance.
Okay, I'm probably of the same mind. We need more housing. It's a big expense to move a sewer that's already been there. It's tapped. I don't know. It's the sewer line that's bothering me. Cost. Tell me about cost.
It is. It comes down to cost. And to Commissioner Sherliff's point is we don't have any teeth once we approve this. It would be more like we would be asking for a goodwill gesture. That you would ask your tenants not to, but it's more goodwill. Technically speaking though, it is ADA and it is a finable, but I think our resources have better things to do than looking for that. But so I think with it all being said, I'm going to be in favor of it. I do wish process would have been different, and then that sewer line could have been put in the proper location.
I live in an area where there's many new buildings with new sidewalks, and there's constant overhang of the sidewalks based on people parking there. So I am feeling opposed to this variance request because it will exist for a long time. And the public safety for anyone using those sidewalks is in question if we approve it.
Can I just offer one? I understand the safety issue.
If you could please come up to the microphone so we can capture this for the record.
We drove around the area, and if you look, about not every other one, but probably 1 out of 5 in that area, just because of where it is, it doesn't meet. And I understand these are old houses. They were put there prior to these conditions, but most of them do not. There's one, you open the garage door and you're right on the garage and they're already there. But, I realize you want to correct now, but it's not unusual for the area. None of them are, I shouldn't say none, but most of them don't even have garages, so they're on the street. And then there's a lot of them that are very narrow and they don't meet the 20.
And then I understand the concern with the vehicles overhanging the sidewalk. And so we put off-street parking off the alley so that nobody would be parking on the actual garage slab area. My truck that I drive is 26 feet long and it always overhangs the sidewalk. So it was something that, I was kind of aware of when we were designing this thing and figuring out where to place it. so that we had the off-street parking in the alley. And then, what else was there? Yeah, and with the sewer line, it was, my biggest thing is like the sewer line maintenance. If there ever has to be that sewer line dug up, because we could have put it running underneath the buildings or somewhere else, but if that sewer line has to be dug up, then it'd be nice to have a little bit of extra room to get a piece of equipment up there. And the main sewer line that where we tapped into, it actually dead ends basically at the intersection of East Lindale and North Harris. So in order to tap into a sewer line on North Harris, we would have had to continue, we'd had to dig up the road and continue it all the way up North Harris Road to bring it in any other direction. So it's really the only spot that we could tap into this, the sewer main right there.
Yeah, I think I, th- I love this project. I love the fill-in. I love everything about it. And it's not the first time that we've had 16.3. And it is not the first one in that neighborhood. For sure. So I'm going to support this. On the record, we encourage you to be cognizant of the overhang. I know it's just that is us preaching. There's no teeth to it, but that's what I would ask with that approval.
I believe the garages could be made shorter, correct? I mean, it'd be not to the standard that was proposed, but many garages in Helena are shorter.
Parking space, if you would, is 9 by 20. So they already have, if they have 22 feet, you have 9 inches of wall on both sides. So you're already shrinking it down. I don't think the garage can be shorter because once you park a vehicle in there in a parking spot, then there's the question, depending on the vehicle, which you can't control, getting around the vehicle, whether you're going to the driver's side, right? You need some walkway space either in front of it or behind it to get around it. So I would argue that the garage can't be shorter. If I were to design the garage, I'd make it 24 feet. Like that's my standard depth. But they have it at 20. So I don't think that one it can shrink anymore. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but if our argument is that only compact cars could be parked in front of it, then in theory, only compact cars would be using the garage as well.
Well, we can look at it another way. If you can't park in the garage, then they're definitely going to be parked on the right. They're going to
Right.
be parked in front, which is what happens at our house.
Right.
We can't park in the garage. So if we can get a garage that's big enough that they can park in and actually use it, then it is more of an encouragement for them to be inside.
True. An encouragement though, and not a,
No,
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
control people. So. All right, is there more discussion? Not for you? Okay.
No, I'm ready to vote. I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve a variance from section 11-4-2 B3 to decrease the setback to the vehicular entrance of a garage from 20 feet to 16.3 feet for a property in the R2 zoning district with the legal description lots 15 and 16 and block 45 in the Northern Pacific addition to the city of Helena, Lewis and Clark County, Montana. With stipulation that a building permit must be obtained within 1 year.
I second.
Okay. Before we move, just any more discussion? I feel like I'm crossing my T's, dotting my I's with this question, but just want to make sure. All right, let's go. April, why don't you do a roll call vote?
So Chair Eggline,
Yay.
Vice Chair Tholt,
Yay.
Commissioner Shertliff,
Aye.
Ms. Beckwith.
Nay.
The motion fails. So a motion fails. Kyle will talk to the applicant and
Okay.
we'll move forward.
Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, well, then all we have is adjournment, right? We don't have, oh, no. Is there any general comment online, April?
We have no one online, as we had no one online before.
Okay.
So, the next meeting is going to be in May. I can't think of the date right off the top of my head, but we do have at least 2 applications.
I
Okay.
believe it's May 7th.
May 7th, okay. Yes, that tracks because zoning commission is the 14th. So we have 2 applications, at least, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll probably have some more later on. I know we're gonna have a reapplication from Helena First Church. They had a 2-year time limit on their former variances and they failed to get their building permit in that time. So, so they'll be coming back probably in the next couple of months. So they had like 5 variances on their last request, so. They actually also need to get an extension on their CUP. So that's happening next month. But we'll see. But otherwise, no new business to my knowledge.
Somebody make a motion for adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Right. Thanks, April. Nice work.